Hello and welcome to the Sana Psychological Podcast, your safe space for connection, healing, and growth. Each episode, our experienced clinicians and special guests will share strategies, stories, and resources to support your unique path to well-being. Because at Sana, your mental health matters. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Sana Psychological Podcast. I'm so happy to have you join me. I'm your host, Paige Abbott. Today, I am going to be talking about a really interesting topic, or at least I find it quite interesting, and it's the topic of somatics and somatic rest. We spend so much of our lives in our heads, thinking, planning, worrying, analyzing, that we often forget we even have a body until something feels wrong. Tension in the shoulders, a tight jaw, or that low hum of exhaustion that sleep doesn't quite fix. So today we're going to talk about something that goes deeper than just getting rest. We're talking about somatic rest, what it is, why it matters, and how you can start practicing it in small, accessible ways. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because it is personally quite interesting and quite relevant because I, like many of you listening, I found myself hitting a wall where certain parts of my body and my system were just in pretty constant discomfort. And I've tried lots of different things, stretching, rolling, massage, physio, just whatever sorts of tools you can think of to create some release. And while these do provide some bodily relief and release, I found that they really are benefited by somatic rest and taking that extra step to settle our system. Because it was only when I could introduce that into the practice that I could really feel the true tension leaving my body. And I think so many of us are carrying way more tension, way more energy and stress in our bodies than we realize. So this idea of somatic rest, it's connected to somatics, which simply means relating to the body, especially as it's experienced from the inside. It's not about how your body looks, it's about how your body feels. So somatics is the practice of tuning into internal sensations, things like warmth, tightness, heaviness, tingling, breath, and subtle shifts in posture or energy. Again, really noticing that so much tension in my shoulders and upper back. And after bringing in some somatic rest practices, now I can actually feel that energy in there. And using some strategies and sometimes now even just awareness can help consciously and intentionally release some of that tension, which is so beneficial for the body. Your body is not just carrying you through the world, it's constantly processing your experiences. Stress, emotions, and even everyday interactions don't just live in our thoughts. They show up physically. Our nervous system responds. Our muscles contract or release. Our breath changes. So when we talk about somatic rest, we're talking about giving your body and your nervous system a chance to settle, reset, and feel safe again. So somatic rest isn't about just lying down or getting more sleep, although those can help too. It's specifically about restoring a sense of ease into our body. You can be physically still and still not be at rest. If your mind is racing and your body is tense, your system isn't actually settling. So somatic rest is about releasing physical tension, slowing down internal activation, and reconnecting with our bodies in a gentle, non-demanding way. So it's not about doing it right. It's more about allowing your body to soften even just a little bit. So when our nervous system is constantly activated, whether from stress, pressure, or just a busy life, your body can get stuck in a kind of always on mode. And I'm sure so many of you listening can relate to that, where you're doing everything that you feel you can to slow down, turn off, decompress, but you still may feel chronic tension, fatigue that doesn't necessarily go away with sleep, this irritability or emotional overwhelm, or just general difficulty focusing or relaxing. Somatic rest helps regulate the nervous system. It sends the signal that you're safe enough to just soften and rest right now. And when your body starts to really believe that, even briefly, it can improve emotional regulation, reduce our stress hormones, and increase your capacity to handle challenges. You feel more grounded, more present, and it can even help reduce some physical pain, discomfort, which obviously comes with a host of mental, emotional, relational benefits into our day to day life. So let's make this practical. What are some simple, low pressure ways to start exploring this concept of somatic rest? The nice thing about this is you don't need any special tools. You don't need to take tons and tons of time to do this in your days. But if you can welcome in any kind of somatic rest practice, even just for a few minutes a day, I'll be interested to see how that benefits you as that accumulates over time. At first, it may just feel kind of weird. It may feel uncomfortable. You may not notice much benefit from it, but it is a practice that's an investment. It's an investment in that settling. Think how long it's taken you to get to the point where you are today, how much energy, life has been absorbed to get your system to where it is now. Of course, that's not just going to disappear immediately. So, a key part of this is consistency as well as patience with the practice. That, much like other rest and relaxation practices like meditation or even an exercise or yoga type practice, it takes time to really start to feel the benefits from it. And so, at first, it may just be about bringing it into your routine and building some structure out of it. And then over time, you'll really start to notice those benefits. So, one somatic rest practice that you could start doing right now, if you wanted to, is a body scan. Taking a moment to just notice all the different parts of your body from your head all the way down to your toes. Some people like to envision almost a nice, bright, warm light just slowly moving down the different parts of their body as they tune into them. So just noticing, how does the top of your head and your forehead feel? What about your eyes, your eyelids, your cheeks, your jaw, down into your neck, your shoulders, down into your biceps, your forearms, your wrists, your hands, down into your chest, your solar plexus, into our stomach, our low back, down into your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, all the way down to your toes. You're not trying to change anything as you slowly go through these different parts of the body. You're observing. Just notice, where do you feel tension? Where do you feel neutral or relaxed? Is there warmth, tightness, or heaviness? This practice allows us to build awareness of the soma, our physical body. Where are we at? How are we feeling? As you continue with this practice, you can enhance it. You can start to connect the somatic practice even to emotional energy. You can start to notice, does it feel like there's emotions sitting in different parts of your body? What is that energy telling you? What's it trying to communicate? You can also then start to bring in that progression of some breath. If you breathe consciously and intentionally into those tense or more energized parts of your body, what does that offer to it? So when we notice our body without trying to fix it, we start to build that connection. We reduce that internal resistance. We're opening up connection. We're processing our experiences differently because we're looking at it from a different way. We're not just thinking about it. We're not just talking about it. We're going into where in our physical body we carry the energetic remnants of our experience. Another somatic practice that you can try anywhere, anytime is extended exhale breathing. Our normal breath is usually a bit more equal, or if we're in a more anxious or heightened state, we'll actually be inhaling more and longer than our exhales. So starting to shift that, giving the exhales a longer opportunity for release, just brings something different into our body. So what this looks like is inhaling gently through the nose, then exhaling slowly through your nose or your mouth, it's your preference, for a few seconds longer than your inhale. So a lot of people like a 4-count inhale, a 6-count exhale. We practiced this in our previous quick grounding stabilization meditation that we did in an earlier podcast. So you're welcome to check that out if you're interested. Some people prefer a 3-count inhale, a 6-count exhale. And as you progress in the practice, sometimes people will even extend that. Maybe a 4-count inhale, maybe a 7-count exhale, even an 8-count exhale. I've done some breath work, and they even have you exhaling and just sitting in that exhaled space for up to a minute. I know it sounds pretty wild, and it definitely felt like a challenge. I didn't know if I could do it. And it was really interesting when I did, just it offers something different to the body. And our mind does get involved. It throws up fear, it throws up barriers, it throws up doubt. And that's the interesting thing about somatic rest and somatic practices is they allow us to kind of work through those, move through those thoughts and challenge ourselves and support our bodies differently, even when our mind may be saying, don't go there, don't do that. It's interesting the resistance that can come up when we're bringing in something different. Another somatic rest practice that you could try is supported stillness. So lying down or sitting in a truly comfortable position with full support. So your back against a chair, your body on a bed. You may sort of surround yourself with cushions, pillows, blankets, put a mask on. Like you can go as into this and cocoon yourself as much as you want. But the idea is just to feel fully supported, that you don't have to carry any of the weight of your body. Let gravity and let that floor, chair, bed, wherever you are, fully support you. You may even bring in some sort of mantra to yourself, such as, I don't have to hold myself up right now. Why this can help is that our muscles are constantly working to hold us up, hold our posture, keep us going. So letting them fully release can signal deep safety in our system. Think about this is happening when we sleep and how sleep is hopefully quite deeply restful for us. And part of that is that we just can let go. So having an opportunity to let go where we're actually still awake and we're conscious is a really interesting and different experience that offers something unique to our body as well as to our mind. Another example to try of somatic rest is some gentle movement or swaying. It's funny, even as I'm talking about this, I'm actually now finding myself swaying back and forth like a piece of grass kind of wafting in the wind. So instead of that rigid stillness, just trying to tune into what your body is intuitively calling for. It might be to do a little bit of a dance. It might be asking you to just get up and walk on the spot. Might be asking you to sway as I'm doing, kind of moving your arms, your body back and forth in a rhythmic way. Could be calling you to roll your shoulders, stretch in a way that feels intuitive. I've seen people down on the floor, doing sort of stretches, even kind of cat-like movements. Whatever your body is feeling called to. I know this one can really take us out of our comfort zone because it's asking us to move in a way that might be different than how we move day to day. So it would be encouraged that you do this privately so that you don't have to worry about other people's judgment or their perceived judgment, and that you can truly just tune into what am I feeling called to do. And even if you're sitting here thinking, I don't think I'm called to do anything, just take a moment, just ask. Ask your body, how do you want to move right now? Then you might just find you slowly start to maybe tap a foot or move your hand. And then maybe it starts to become a bit more full body movement. That if we just tune into this, again, once a day, a couple times a day, every once in a while, might be something different every time. And that's beautiful. We're working with our body and where it's at that time. Another way to practice somatic rest is in bilateral movement. I see a lot of clients in my office, and when we're talking about things that might be particularly emotional or stressful for them, or sometimes particularly relaxing for them, it's always interesting to me how I notice some movement will start to happen. So I might notice a foot start to tap, or maybe both feet start to tap, or they start to kind of move their hands or fidget with something. Again, this is part of our body being part of the conversation. And when we're just looking at our mind and our words, we're ignoring a really important part of our experience, which is our body. Think about how much space our body takes up compared to our mind. If we're ignoring all of that real estate, are we missing out on huge opportunities? Absolutely. So bilateral movement is bringing in movement on both sides of the body. So if you notice that you're a one-sided foot tapper, or you're sort of a restless leg tapper, like your leg jostles up and down when you're sitting, what I would invite you to do is, again, just once a day or whenever you feel called to do it, to just bring in movement on both sides of your body. So it would be now foot tap on one side, then the other. We may, be tapping our fingers on one hand, but just bring in tapping on the other. And bilateral does mean going back and forth, this back and forth of movement, one side, then the other. So again, imagine tapping your left foot, then tapping your right foot, back to the left, back to the right. As we go back and forth, just bring something different to our brains. In the bilateral, we're activating our parasympathetic or relaxation response system. This is important for a sense of rest, a sense of calmness. So if we can bring that in, all the better for our day-to-day experience. Bilateral movement can be with tapping, so with our feet, tapping on our knees, tapping our hands on a surface. It can also be with eye movement, just moving our eyes, not our head, just our eyes. Again, also back and forth, back and forth. There's a lot of therapies that build in this idea of bilateral movement or bilateral eye movement into the treatment. We can also do it with bilateral sound. There's a lot of meditations on places like YouTube that are called binaural beats meditations, and they actually are sending noise from one side to the other. So if you listen to those with headphones, you still might not even notice it. They just sound like calming sounds. But the mechanism is that there's sound coming to one side, then the other, to activate this idea of the bilateral. So these are all ways that we can bring a little bit more stability, more focus, more tranquility into that level of body. And all of this helps tell your nervous system that your environment is safe, that you are safe, and it brings us out of those internal stress loops and into the present moment. So the goal with any of these practices or others that you might explore is certainly not perfection. It's just permission. Permission to check in, permission to soften. If there's one thing to take away from today's podcast, it's this. Rest isn't just something you earn when everything is done. It's something that your body needs and deserves throughout the day and throughout your experience. Somatic rest is one way of giving your body that care, quietly, gently, and consistently. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this resonated, I would invite you to try one of these practices right now, sometime today, just for a minute or two. See what you notice, and invite yourself to keep bringing in these gentle somatic practices as a way of taking care of yourself, because you deserve it, and I hope that you will. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you for listening to the Sana Psychological Podcast. We're glad you joined us today. For more resources, free tools, or to book a session with our team, visit sanapsychological.com. Your mental health is our priority. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and take good care.